y'all, this is Hope at Crafty Hope, and I am continuing to show y'all what I made for ICAD 2019, which ran June and July of 2019. These cards are, oh shoot, where are they? 46, 47, and 48. If you want information about ICAD, I've got it below, but I'm going to go ahead and let you know I'm working on 4x6 index cards, and for the most part, I'm working with the prompts that Tammy Garcia has set out for us each day. I'm not doing so much the weekly themes. Now, prompt 46 was Amethyst, and I decided for some reason I wanted to play around with alcohol inks and kind of try to do some kind of like, oh, what do you call it? Like agate slab type feel to it. So I'm playing around. I used some of that acetate, which is just like a piece of plastic, to drip some of the plastic on there and see what I could do to get it onto. And this is just some, I don't know, some cheapo photo paper. And then I've got some spray alcohol. And again, and I'm just playing with these, trying to figure out what I can make these supplies do to create my card. So here I'm pulling out another piece of photo paper. And this is, I've decided I'm going to go ahead and just spray a bunch of the alcohol ink on there and then drip my alcohol inks on there and spray some more. And I'm just playing here, getting a bunch of things and, you know, themes amethyst. I went with purples and pinks and violets to kind of, I don't know, to kind of get this card going. So, as you see, I've got a paintbrush and I'm just kind of spreading it out and adding more dry, you know, just playing it. Really, y'all, I had no idea what I was doing. I just wanted to see what I could do. So that's what I did, was this big old mess. And it really, you know, it ended up blending and being one color. You can see some touches of other colors. It wasn't magnet, I don't know, something crazy great, but you know, I had a couple more drops on it to try to get some neat things going. I had some odd little shapes in there. I'm surprised at some of the way the shapes were formed here on this photo paper. And I chose photo paper because of its glossiness, and I'd seen, I don't even know how many years ago, Tim Holtz used photo paper somehow with alcohol inks. I don't remember what it was or why, but I was like, you know, I've got all this photo paper, I'm just going to use it. Now, I did try spraying the alcohol on there for a minute to see if that would give some fun splotches, and it didn't really do much of anything. So I picked a section of that paper that I liked and I traced around it real quick with just a pen, and I'm going to cut that section out and glue it to my 4x6 index card. Now, if you know more about playing with photo paper and alcohol inks, please let me know what I'm missing out on, because I don't think I did it quite right. But in the end, I really do make a really pretty card. So I guess that's fine. That's all I really was supposed to do here. So I just glued that photo paper to my index card with my Uhu glue stick as usual. And then I've got some Sealess Preserves Distress Oxide. I think that's the right one. It's the violet-y one. And I just ink the edges a little to frame it up. And from there, I think I'm going to take, yeah, some gold Liquitex acrylic ink that I am going to just put a little bit down on my nonstick craft sheet and spray a little bit of water on that, and then use a fan brush to just flick on there, because I wanted a little bit of metallic. I wanted, I don't know, a higher end feel to it. And rather than waste all of that beautiful gold, I'm sopping it up with a bunch of different pieces of paper. I'm trying to get better about that rather than, I don't know, wiping it away, especially if I don't put it down on something else. So I'm going to dry this real quick, I think. I think that's what I'm going to do. Actually, no. Instead, I've got all of these little clippings from a book that my sister-in-law got these when she went on vacation. It's from Baron von Munchausen, I think is the book. And it's just little snippets of phrases that she got at a scrapbook store while she was out in like Arizona or something. And I found one, and it was the word grape on there that pulled me to it, and it says, "What the flavor of the grape?" Now, I have no idea what that means or anything, but something about the word grape, and this being amethyst, and the colors I used, I thought, well, that's kind of perfect. It kind of looks like grape flavors that are on there. So now I dry my card, and I try to hold down all of those little pieces of book text that are flying everywhere. And I think I'm just going to use my Uhu glue stick to glue down that little phrase think, well, first I had to figure out where I want it because I was thinking maybe I wanted it over some of those darker spots so it would stand up a little bit more. But I decided that no, it was really kind of empty in that upper left area and it needed something. So that putting that there is great. And then I've got this purple gel pen that just sits on the side of my desk and I just kind of go around it kind of sketchily to make that pop, and that's it for this one. Here I go with card 47, and the prompt for it was turnpike. So I just took a piece of, well, let me go ahead and say that I didn't really know what a turnpike was. I knew it had something to do with like roads or something, but it's not a phrase we often use around here. So I looked it up and saw that it was kind of like an interstate or an expressway where a toll is charged. And again, it's just not a term that geez, we've got some toll roads and stuff around here, but I don't know, turnpike just isn't a common phrase for us. So I don't know, reaching grasping at straws here. So I just took some dictionary paper, glued it down with my Oohoo glue stick. I took a black nail color and kind of I guess a yellowy mustard one, and just scribbled on there to get started. And I guess that to me is color. You know, you see the black line, I mean the yellow lines on the black road. And anyway, but from there I just took purple and brayered that out on my card. And I don't know what that has to do with anything, but I think I was just kind of playing here. And let's see, that's some Dilutions paint that I'm just going to spread out with a big paintbrush. The purple on there hasn't dried yet, so it kind of blends a little, and it's kind of pretty. And like I said, I'm just throwing things at this card. And so from there, I keep saying I'm just using a China marker there to make some little dashes on there. That block of blue there felt like it needed to be broken up a little. And then I'm taking a drawing pencil to just scribble some little things, some lines, and just get some movement. There's some, I think I did some circles on there, just moving some things around, getting that background going. And then I'm grabbing some washi tape. First, I'm starting with one with some arrows on it, which kind of made me think of the roadway. You know, there's always kind of directional arrows, turn here and one way and all of that. So I did that. And then I have some washi tape with some bicycles on it. So I thought that was great because it's got wheels and that goes on the road. And so that kind of goes with the turnpike feel. And again, I'm just kind of vaguely interpreting this, this prompt. And I felt like it needed a pop of brightness. So I've got this yellow Colorx crayon that I'm just scribbling in a couple places. I like these because they're really soft, so I can rub the color, spread it out just with my finger really nicely. So that's all I'm doing, is just adding a little pop of brightness around on there. And then I grabbed this big, big, I say big, it is large print page from a book. And I look and finally see the word, I just can't be like them. That's it. I just can't be like them. And it has nothing to do at all with the prompt, but it is the phrase that jumped out to me. I don't think there was anything going on right then that made me feel like I couldn't be like other people, but it was one of those things that sometimes you have to be your own self and do your own thing, and you don't have to be like everybody else or a group of people or you know, you don't have to be like other people, and I just can't be like them. So I went around that with that China marker, and then I knew it needed something else. So I grabbed the first thing I could find on my desk, which was just the lid of a little paint thing. And I'm going to use that basically to stamp some circles and paint around on this card in kind of a really light tan brown, like a mocha-y, you know, color. So, and I put that on there, and then I decided that card's done. Perfect, done. Card 48 had the prompt of topographic. I think that's the right way to say it. When I think of that, it's like when you're looking at a map that has the texture of the layout of the elevation and all of that, that's topographic. And so I've thought about like the globe and I guess maps that you had so much texture to it. So that's what I was kind of going for. And I really didn't like this card when I finished it, but later looking at it, I realized, how much it really fits the theme perfectly, and I like it a lot more now. So I started this one with just putting down some newsprint that had some scribbles on it, and then I scribbled a little bit more with a red neo color. And then I'm going to just putting down a little bit of just kind of a blue and then a really light like parchment yellow kind of color. I wasn't really going for anything. I think I was just trying to use up some paints in my stash that were almost empty. So put those down, and then I've got a little bit of a jelly print on deli paper that's just kind of sitting on my desk. So I'm tearing off some pieces of it and having a hard time getting it glued down because I think that paint's still a little wet. And I'm just sticking that down in a couple spots. Really didn't have a plan other than I knew I was going to need some texture on this card. So I grabbed this, it's a paper tape. It's like a medical tape, and it's kind of like a really tissuey see-through effect. So like if you just put down something, you can't see it, but you can feel it. So I decided to start putting this down, kind of bunching it up as I'm putting it down to give that topographic or, really textural feel to this card, to give it, I don't know, all that bunchiness, I guess. So I'm just bunching up that, and because it's got so much, I don't know, flappiness to some of it, I'm going to pull out my matte gel medium and just a paintbrush and kind of go over it to make sure that it's adhered real well to the card. I don't want it um, coming undone because it's not, because of the way I bunched it or whatever. So I'm just going over that real quick to make sure it sticks well. Do you see all that texture? And that's what I wanted. I wanted it to have some kind of texture. This is just a bit of a white acrylic paint. Like I said, I was trying to use up some stuff that's been old, and I didn't have much left. So I am using my brayer just to give a little bit more depth to this card. And this really works on then. And then I still got some of that yellow over there that I go ahead and again brayer it on. It really, I don't know. When you see the closer looks of this card, you'll see how well it gives depth to this. So I decided to take, what is it? It's called Dynaflow. It's some kind of ink, and I've had it forever, and I think it's still out there on the market. I don't know what its real use is, but I just use it on cards and stuff like that all the time. And I am putting that directly on those raised areas where I put down that tissue tape, that paper tape. And you see I'm blotting it off and putting it on there and spreading it around. I added a little bit of water, I think, because I didn't want it too strong on there. But it really, I don't know, it worked out perfectly. And see, I'm using my finger. I'm trying to get it down in the grooves and the crevices of that tape to make sure that all of it's covered. And then I'm going to dry it super quick. And I've got the walnut stain distress oxide out there. And what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to take a cosmetic sponge, just one of those cheapo ones I use all the time, and put some of the distress oxide right onto that cosmetic sponge so I can lightly go over those raised parts to give them more dimension so that you can see them a little bit better, and so they have that topographic map effect to them. And I'll ink up the edges, of course, of my card to frame it up. And then I'm going to go looking for a phrase, and I happen to immediately spot on this Tim Holtz sticker sheet, it says travelers and traveling. And like I said, topographic makes me think of maps, and so travelers and traveling is perfect. And I did ink up the outside of that sticker before I stuck it down so that it had a little bit of dimension to it as well. And I had to glue it down a little bit because all that stuff that I had layered on there wasn't quite dry, and so it wasn't sticking. And then I'm just using a brown Stabilo all pencil and a water brush to go around the outside of that phrase to make it stand out. And that's going to be it for these cards, guys. I hope you've liked these three. They're pretty simple. I kind of just threw them together, and I'm really happy with them. I hope you like them. If so, give me a thumbs up. Ask me any questions you want, and make sure to subscribe so that you'll see more of what I've got to show you. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.